Hi everyone, and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Collection Mania Monday, and we're going to take a look at a new set of pencils. So there is going to be a swatch, just to let you know. The new set of pencils are a Brutfuner pencil, and that's why we're doing it on Collection Monday, because I did the Brutfuners last Monday, the round ones. This is the new set of Brutfuners. They are square. Now, I have taken some pencils out to match them up with the other ones. I did actually think I recorded an entire video and talked to myself for an hour. So just so you know, there are some pencils missing because I have pulled them out and matched them up with the round ones so that I could color the little coloring page. And I did color the coloring page, and I will go through that with you and walk you through what I found with the pencils. Until then, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the swatch because I already did the swatch, and I will speed that video up for you really quick and let you watch the swatch part, and I will be right back. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. Hopefully it didn't take too long. Now I'm going to put those over there because I don't need them anymore because I've already pulled the colors. We're going to take a look at the swatch sheets and go over the numbering of the different swatch sheets. Now these ones here, I do believe, are the old Brutfuners because I put square on the new ones, except for the browns, this one here, because I didn't write on that. Let's put square on that. Okay, so we've got our reds into our oranges, into our yellows, into our yellow greens, and then into the blue greens and the dark greens into the blue greens. And then we have the blues into the really dark blues and a really dark blue green down here. I'm not sure why that's down there and not on the other page, but there's a few things that I'm not sure why they're all over the place, and that's in both sets. And if we were to line them up by number, they would definitely be way off. So at least this is somewhat in the color families, and they're pretty this way. So we've got our red purples, like our red violets, into our violets, then into our pinky purples, into our pinks, and this one here and this one here. This whole grouping here looks red to me, not only on camera, but on the swatch as well. I will warn you that my camera, for some reason, is picking up pink as red on my close-up camera. So if I switch this over to close-up, it's going to look really red. Then we've got some bright pinks here, some lighter pinks, into a salmon color, into a paler pink, into our skin tones, into a really pale yellow, almost a cream, and then our bright pinks. And then we go into our reddish browns, into our dark browns, into our darker purples and our red purples, like the really dark red purples. And then we go into our terracotta colors and another red that I think should be over with the starting swatches of reds. More of our terracottas into our lighter browns and into our red browns, not our purple browns or orange browns, I guess you'd say. Then down into some odd combination colors, our tans and light browns, and then into our metallics. And I do believe these ones here are all metallics. And then into our grays. And then for some reason they've put some dark purples and a dark teal down here just before black. And then of course a really dark gray, almost black color. So those are our SQUARE Brutfuners that I swatched out for you. And I will let you know I did swatch both or swatch both ways. One with sharpening them. I sharpened some of them, and I continued to swatch without sharpening them. And I did find that the color laid down smoother and nicer with sharpening them. So do remember to sharpen them before you do your coloring. If you want to swatch them unsharpened, they will put down the right color, but I did find, like, for example, this side here I sharpened, this side here I sharpened some of them, but not all of them, and I think you can tell which ones I didn't sharpen. Now, I did line up a couple of different colors. I lined up some pinks, some greens, some browns, some yellows with the original Brutfuners against the SQUARE Brutfuners. And I have them all here. So we took this SQUARE Brutfuner and this Brutfuner, have almost the same color, almost identical colors in the lid. So that is number 38 in my round Brutfuners and number 12 in the square Brutfuners. I also lined up a light pink, or a bright pink, I mean. And the barrels on these ones are almost identical. This one here is a matte finish. This is a glazed finish, so it's a little bit shinier. But they're pretty much the same color even on the barrel. And that's number 26 and 107. 26 is the original Brutfuner and 107 is the square Brutfuner. And then we did some yellows. And the yellows are number 2 and 4. Number 2 is in the square Brutfuners, number 4 is in the original. And we did some greens. Now I did have one green, this one here, that I did not use. But we've got some light greens. And these are pretty close in color, almost exact in color. 157 and 42. And 157 is got a little bit more yellow in it than 42, but not a whole lot. And then we've got some dark greens. And I found that the Brutfuner number 80, the square pencil that I chose in comparison to number 124, the round pencil I chose, are close, but the number 80 is a touch darker. The red browns that I chose, number 49 and number 21. Number 49 is more of a red brown. They look very similar in their jackets, but this brown is a darker brown, less red than this one. And then we've got our tan colors, and these are almost identical. Let's see, these ones are almost identical, and that's number 51 and number 20. And then we've got our ready tan colors, and they're pretty close too, and that's number 119 and 93. Now the page that we were working on last Monday was this page here, and we did this one here with the original Brutfuners last Monday. This is the one that I did today with the pencils that I just showed you. So I'm going to walk you through what I colored and how I colored it, so that you can see the difference in them if there's any difference. So I'm just going to switch you over. So this one here I did in the dark green and light green of the original Brutfuners. And as you can tell, the light green is pretty similar to this light green. So that's the square Brutfuners in between the two leaves there. That's the square Brutfuners green, and it's almost identical. The dark green, however, as you can probably see here, I've got the Brutfuner dark green on the inside, and like the round Brutfuner, and the square Brutfuner on the outside, and the square Brutfuner is darker, which you can probably see here, but because these leaves are smaller, it's a little bit harder to see. The pinks are identical. This one here was done with the original Brutfuners, the round barrel, and this one here was done with the square barrel. Same with the yellows. This one was done with the round barrel, this was done with the square. And this one here, the lower part of this area here, I did with that square barreled Brutfuner, and the upper part here I did with the round barreled Brutfuner. So they are almost identical yellows. These ones here are done with the round Brutfuner, and they're just a touch more red than these ones over here, which were done with the square Brutfuner, but not enough to make it a huge difference. Now, if you're doing a large area, it may make it a huge difference, but I'm just doing a very small area, so I would have to test that on a larger picture and see if it makes a huge difference or not. The light colors in these two are pretty close to the same. This one here is a little bit lighter than this one, and the darker colors, the darker browns, this one here, like I said, is definitely more red than the square. This is done in the squares, and this one here is done in the rounds. So this one here obviously has a lot more of a red tinge to the dark brown than this one here did. So I didn't match those up very well. Now, on to sharpening. They do sharpen really nicely for a square pencil. It does take a couple of bumps to sharpen them. I will show you on this one here. When you sharpen it, as you can probably see there, it's not very sharp. I sharpened this on a dual opening sharpener, and I'm not very good with sharpening things with those. But on the doll, you just get it past that initial bump, and it sharpens it beautifully. You get a lovely point, and it just does really well. Now, I did find that all of these pencils, every one that I've used so far and every one that I've looked at, all of the ends of these pencils are, and I'll switch you over to the other camera so you can see, are all very, very well centered. There's no huge off-centering for any of them, which is wonderful. The pinks, yellows, this pink, you know, all almost identically centered. Now, with square pencils, you are going to find that you're going to have less likeliness of them not being centered, because of the fact that basically how they get a round pencil is they take a square pencil and they put it through a machine that grinds down all of those square edges to get the round. So they're pretty much the same pencil. It's just this one here didn't go through that process of grinding down the edges to make it round. The SQUARE Brutfuner does have a matte finish, which is really nice. So it's not reflecting a lot of light when you're filming and that sort of thing, where the round ones will reflect a light. All in all, I think they're lovely pencils. They lay down exactly the same way that the Brutfuner, the round Brutfuners do. They do not line up number-wise whatsoever, not even close. I don't know if that's because this is a newer set of Brutfuners that have the newer numbering system, because I know at some point they changed the numbering system, or what it is. But they, like, I have a number 1 in the round Brutfuners that is a yellow, and one in the square Brutfuners that's a red. So not even close to lining up in number wise. All in all, I would definitely suggest, if you want to have a very unique set of pencils, these are very budget friendly. They are only $35 right now on Amazon. They are accessible, so they are easily gotten if you know where to look on Amazon. I will leave a link for them where I bought them from in my About section. What else can I tell you about them? They're not going to roll. Definitely not going to roll. They're very square. So these may actually be a great solution for me for in the RV. So if my husband is driving and we're going a long distance and I'm bored, I can just go sit at the kitchen table and color, where normally I wouldn't be able to do that because any sort of movement, those pencils are just going to roll off that table and smash for me. Where these ones didn't even move, so it may be a great solution for that, which is really kind of cool. Another thing I'm going to do is I have found an app for my phone where I can take a picture of this Chinese writing here, or Asian writing. I'm not sure if it's Chinese or Japanese, and it will translate it for me. So I may actually be able to find the color names for each of these pencils, which will be really cool. So I will keep you updated on that. But personally, I think that they are a wonderful set of pencils. I am so sorry that I messed up the video and wasn't able to give you the coloring of this with those pencils because I did mess it up so badly. Let's see if I have anything. Let's color. Actually, I do have something we can color. Hold on a sec. Where did it go? Let's color something Christmassy with them. We'll just use the colors that we have out, and we will color a Christmas sock. And just because you didn't get to see me coloring with them. So I'm going to switch you over to that camera and turn on the light for you so you can see what's going on, and so I can see what's going on. Now you saw the comparison of those colors, and this is that medium dark green and the light green. And I'm not pressing horribly hard. And another thing that I did notice that I was asked about is, are they difficult to hold? And they don't seem to be. They don't hurt my hand. They don't dig into my hand or anything like that. And I seem to have a better grip on them. So from what I can tell, they don't color any, like the way you hold them is no different than a round one. So this is with the SQUARE Brutfuners. Hopefully you can see that okay. And I am finding that holding them in my hand is more comfortable. Like I hold pencils in my hand while I'm coloring, where with the round ones, it's not as comfortable as with the square ones. I don't know why. So this is the round Brutfuners. And of course, the amount of pressure that you put on it is going to definitely dictate how much color is going to come into that. So try to make sure that you use the same pressure if you're comparing the two different brands, right? Make sure you try to get the same amount of layers, the same amount of pressure, all that fun stuff. But I just want to show you the final product and let you know that they are really close together. You know, they lay down just as nicely as the originals. Okay, and that's the original. So there's the squares. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit more of that light green in there. There's the original, the square ones, and this is the original round ones. And I'm just going to do another tree here with the round ones, and then I'll do another one with the squares. Then we'll, I think, do the stockings in pinks and do this in the yellows. We may not get any browns out of it, but that's okay. We can do the patches on the stockings in browns, I guess. The reddy browns would look okay, I think. Okay, so, and of course I did the other one a little bit quicker, but hopefully this won't take overly long. I'm going to grab these two. Just going to put in. Now I'm wondering, I think this one here is closer to the exact same color. I think so. Yeah. The first one that I put down is darker, but I think this other one's almost the exact same color as the dark one on the round barrels. So if I'm coloring with the square barrels compared to the round barrels, these are exactly the same color. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to actually color this, half of this with that darker and half of it with this darker. Yep, they're the same color. So that is number 81 and 124 that are the same color. So that's kind of cool. Now we're going to take that really dark one because we want a little bit darker on the foot here. And then we're going to take this one. Just going to darken this up a little bit, make it all pretty. Try to blend that line out. It's hard to do on something so small. There we go. Okay, so there's our greens. And they're pretty close. They're pretty close to almost identical colors. Now for our pinks, we're going to take these ones. We're going to take the dark pink in the SQUARE Brutfuner. And we're going to do the shadow areas on the top part here. And see how easy that goes down? You know, I'm barely touching the page and it's just laying down. We're just going to put in some shadow areas as if these little trees are sewn right onto the sock and are actually higher than the base of the sock. Because I know you wouldn't get shadows if they were a part of the sock, of course. That'd be silly. But we're going to make them actually stuck onto the sock. Sort of like little felt or little, what are those little rubber thingies that keep you from slipping? You know, sort of like those. So that's the dark in the SQUARE Brutfuner. Now, make sure that I have the right one here. And then we're just going to bring that down and we're going to go into here with this dark one. And this is the round Brutfuner that I'm pulling the, and they are almost identical colors. I can't tell them apart really. if somebody was to say, okay, this is this color of pink and this is this color of pink, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. And they lay down pretty much exactly the same way. It just depends upon how much pressure you put on it, on how much light's going to be, how much lighter it's going to be. My goodness, my words just don't want to come out now. My brain is sat there going, okay, you have talked long enough today. Oh, what happened to that one? Oh, it's right here. Okay. It's like, wait a minute, where'd it go? I think it's this one that I want. Maybe. Okay, so this is the lighter pink. I'm just going to bring it all the way down to the bottom of these trees here and into this area here. This is the square, lighter pink square one. And I'm just bringing it down low enough that when I put the other pink on, it should blend it together. And this is the round pink. And I cannot see a difference between the two. Even where I've joined them together, I can't see any difference. And I'm using the same pressure I used with the first one, which was the square pink, on this round pink. Okay. Now I did put a little bit more pressure down here at the bottom because of the heel. I want it a little bit darker there. Or not the heel, the bottom of the foot. So I want that area a little bit darker. And I'm going to put just a little bit more coating on the areas that are showing some white spot. Yeah, it's exactly the same color. I can't tell the difference. The only difference that I know of that I can tell with this color and with the greens that I chose are that the numbers are very, very different. Okay, so we're going to take these reddy browns and we're going to take this darker one. Now I do know that there is a difference in these ones because I could see it in the mushrooms. This one here is more of a dark brown, where the round barreled one is more of a reddy brown. So there is going to be a difference, but just want to see how well they blend together, which they should blend together just perfectly fine. So you can definitely tell that that's more of a red. Now I'm going to go over the area down at the bottom here with the darker brown just to put the toe of the foot down, you know. I am working in a very, very tight space here, so don't know why my desk is so cluttered. Probably because I have like 3 different sets of pencils all over the place at this moment, 2 of which I'm using and 1 of which I was using on a different project, and haven't put them away because I'm still working on that project. I have so many things always going on at the same time. And I want to thank everyone once again for joining me yesterday in our wonderful Christmas bash and congratulate all of my winners. I have put everything in boxes. We're actually got one surprise coming that my husband has found and wanted to give you ladies. So as soon as those come in, I will be shipping those packages out. Those should come in the next day or so. We were hoping they would be in before the party, but unfortunately, with the way the mail goes, not so much. But we tried. We did order them with hopes that they would be here in time, but unfortunately, we were off by a day or two, so. Okay, so we're just going to put this dark in here. Be careful how hard you press. These are very soft. I just pressed a little bit too hard and I could see the tip mushing a little bit. They're a little bit softer than the round ones. Not a whole lot, but they are definitely softer than the round ones. Like if I press on a round one, it doesn't completely mash the head in. It just dusts it off a little bit. Okay. We're just going to do up here. Then we'll add the yellow in for the part up there. These are definitely going to be ugly Christmas socks. We're following the ugly Christmas sweater theme on these ones, I think. And I'm almost done. Just so that you guys can see, you know, how these perform. And that's one of the reasons why I do these little swatches, is so that you guys can see the pencils perform. It's not really anything to do with my ability of how I color or anything like that. It's just to show you how well the pencils perform with the way that I color. Because the way I color is completely different than a lot of other people's. And sometimes it's the same. It all depends. It all depends upon what thing I've learned and what I have devised for myself works the best. And that's pretty much all it is you got to find what works for you and use that. If a technique works really good for you, use that technique. You know, if a sharpener works really good for you, use that sharpener. Pencils work really good for you, use pencils, you know. Crayons work really good for you, use crayons. You know, use what works best for you and what gives you the most enjoyment. All right. Okay, so there's the main part of the sock done. Now let's take a look at these yellows. So we've got yellow number 2 and yellow number 4. The number 4 is in the round and number 2 is in the square. So I'm just going to do each of these with one different yellow. So this one here is the round. And this one here is the square. Just remember to put down the same amount of color, otherwise your comparison will be off. I think I need a little bit more around the edges on this one, because I didn't get all the way to the edge. So they're pretty much the same color. So just to prove that, I'm going to do half of this with the square pencil. And half with the round pencil. Other than the fact that I put a little bit more color on one side than the other, which I just corrected, you cannot tell that there are two different pencils on that end piece there. Now we're just gonna, I think we're just gonna outline these. I know it should be blue because it's a snowflake, but this one has sunlight just shining through it. How's that? But all in all, for a budget-friendly set of unique, really, really unique colored pencils, they're great. They are just as smooth as Brutfuners once you sharpen them. I would definitely suggest that you sharpen them. They are a little bit scratchy if you don't sharpen them, so they've got a little bit of a coating on them. But all in all, a great set of very unique, pretty pencils, because they are gorgeous. Like, how can you resist them? For the cost of them and the uniqueness of them and how nice they look, smudge on them. I would definitely, if you are looking for a set of Brutfuners and you have the ability to purchase the square set, if you're able to find them, I will leave a link. They do come on and off the market from what I understand. So they may be there today, but gone tomorrow. So definitely take a look and see if they are there. Like I said, they are a really, really pretty pencil. This one here looks a little bent. Hold on a sec. I think it's just the way that no, that one's a little curvy. Yeah, it's fine. And that's another thing is with the square barrel, you don't notice the warp at all because they don't move. They are all very, let's not drop them all on the floor. Very centered. I'm going to switch you over to the other camera so you can take a look at the centering of these. So as you can see, all of them are pretty dead center. This one here, no, even that one there looks a little off on camera, but I think that's just because there's a dark area in the wood there, but it's pretty centered too. So all in all, they are pretty dead center. on every single pencil, which is really, really good, which helps when you have to sharpen them. And you can put them in all sorts of configurations. You can do Jenga with them. Colored pencil Jenga. There we go. Tic-tac-toe. Yeah. All sorts of things. And these will come in really handy when I'm trying to color in the RV while we're moving. I don't do that because the pencils roll all over the place, and I don't want the pencils to roll all over the place. So that fixes that problem, doesn't it? See, those roll. These don't. See, I can put those over there and they're not going to move. All in all, a great set of pencils. I thank you so much for watching. I hope that I haven't been too long-winded. Again, I want to thank you all very much for coming to visit me yesterday during our Christmas bash. It was so much fun. As I let you all know last night, I am going to be taking a vacation, so I will not be posting to YouTube for the week of the 21st to the 28th. I will be back on the 28th if my husband is at work. If he's home, then I won't be. Of course, I will not be posting on the 31st or the 1st. Those are holidays, and my husband will be home and we'll be doing holiday stuff. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Ring the bell. That lets you know when I do have videos up. And that sort of thing, so that you are aware if I'm going live, because I do that. Also, leave me a comment. Comments let me know that not only did you enjoy the content, but if you have any questions or anything else like that, encouragement, suggestions, anything like that, it helps me out in understanding what you all want to see, and whether or not you're enjoying what you're seeing in the first place. If you want to join us over on our Facebook group, because we have a Facebook group now. I created a Facebook group for the channel when the channel hit 100 subscribers, and that is going strong and beautifully. I get to see all your wonderful pictures, which is one of the things that I was missing the most, was sharing my pictures with you, but having you guys share with me too. So if you want to be a part of the Facebook group, of course, please do go to the link in my banner, as well as in the About section of this video. Fill out the application form. As soon as you do that, one of the admins will get you into the group as quickly as possible. We do have all sorts of things over there, of course, sharing our different colorings. We are running a contest right now, an event right now for New Year's. The winner of the event will get their picture up on the banner for 2 weeks. So their picture will be the head picture for the group for 2 weeks, which is awesome. Other than that, I do thank you all very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and take a look at these pencils. I will leave a link. They are about $35 on Amazon right now. It is a 120 pencil set. So if you're like me and have a problem with full set syndrome, these are a great set. If you want more, of course, they do have a round set that does have 168 pencils, but that's a different set altogether. Other than that, of course, absolutely remember to relax, color, and stay safe. With that being said, I thank you all very much. You have a fantastic day. Bye-bye for now.